Diving headfirst into Lubbock High athletics. You're listening to the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Happy Wednesday night. It is the High School Fan Zone here on 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com. And don't forget about the mobile app, which is brought to you by our friends at Happy State Bank. You can also watch us on Fox 34 News Now. And we're on YouTube as well, youtube.com/TSportsNetwork. We'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. We will start tonight with the Westerner Fan Zone. I'm Clint Scott in for Randy Rosetta tonight. And we're going to talk a little football with head coach Juan Rodriguez. Coach, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for having me tonight.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
How's everything been?
Been great. Been really good. You know, it's been a fast-paced semester. I can't believe we're at the tail end of the year, and you know we're not too far away from going to the most beautiful season that you and I know together. So we're definitely excited about that.
And you're dressed a lot sharper than I. You didn't have to dress up just for me, but
I heard that you were going to be the guy that was going to be talking to you, and I wanted to really impress. I'm not really worried about Randy and impressing him with my looks, but definitely I was excited to know that you were going to be taking part. And I said, I'm going to wear my Sunday's best.
Well, I appreciate it. You've gotten to wear your best a lot, including tonight, another honors banquet. But I wanted to ask you one that saw you at last Wednesday, and that was the Scholar Awards banquet. And let's start with there. Harrison Alexander represented Lubbock High.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about Harrison, and let's talk about the event there for a little bit.
That's definitely a special event. And we're so blessed to have the opportunity just to partake, and we're grateful to be included in all that. And our kids have been very successful in the last few years, and I know that there are many. But to get to see the kids be there, and not just to see ours, but to see everyone that is a part of it, and to hear their accolades. It's just not just our young man, but everyone else is definitely a tribute to what really the game of football brings to the table, and then shaping young men. And we talk to our kids all the time, and Harrison included. We talk that football's a lot like life, and we've got to tackle our problems. We've got to block out our fears, and we definitely have to score when we get the chance and the opportunity. But to hear those young men, be so successful on the field and off the field is definitely something to be really proud of for all of those included and involved.
You're so right. Like when they're running through all the accolades for all those, when they're first introducing them, and I know this is really kind of a look behind the curtain, because it's really just the inner circle there of football here in the area. And hearing these kids when they're getting introduced and everything that they're involved with and everything that they've already accomplished, you're just like, man, there's a president, there's a president, there's a future president, there's a future. All while being football stars.
I'm glad that you said at that point. I was looking more along the lines, that's my boss, possibly a future boss, somebody I better get to know really fast. It's just no different when I hear talking about Harrison. You think about the AP capstone, and I joke around with the kids. The only thing I knew about AP in high school was the assistant principal, and I was often in that office for whatever reason, and I blame them more than me. But definitely a challenge to see those kids be able to just do so much, again, off the field and on the field with their academics is really impressive.
I always walk away from that event and from events like it too, just always impressed that it feels like we know the football culture in West Texas is great, right? Everybody loves football out here. Everybody loves football just in the state of Texas. But I also just feel like the West Texas football community is really good. But for a coach, like, how do you view kind of the community side from coach to coach or team to team, anything like that for West Texas?
Well, they often have said, and I think throughout the state of Texas, is that it's a great program, it's a great system, it's a great brotherhood, and you always hear the word, it's a great, it's a fraternity of brothers. But when you get to West Texas, there's just a unique, environment. It's a different atmosphere. I truly feel that yes, we're all competitive, we all want to win games, we all want to win on a Friday night. But just to hear those coaches and just to talk to different people, I think of some of the ones that come to mind. You think of Chip Martin, over at Liberty, and Saxton and everyone else, and Cat Winkle and Northcutt, Richards over at. You get to know everybody personally. You talk about our guys, Roy, Sims, and Wharton, but we're all in it for the same reasons, and you get to be brought into that circle of that we're here to help young men become better, both on and off the field, and we all have the same visions for them. Yes, we're competitive, we want to win games, but we're all into the same thing and trying to help them and shape them and make them accountable in life and make them successful people and make successful young men, and hopefully joking around, Harrison would probably be a guy that would be my boss someday. He's extremely intelligent, smart kid, but he's also funny. And, we've had a great relationship the last 4 years, and it's definitely fun to see him. And I know he's been visiting different universities, so I'm excited to see what he's going to choose as he continues his future endeavors in education.
All right, just last question for that event, and then we'll move on to the most important one. But did you go with the chocolate mousse-ish thing, or did you go pecan pie there for the dessert?
I was blessed at this particular event, and that someone didn't show up.
Oh,
so
man.
I was able to maybe partake in taking a spoon here from that situation, and then I am a pecan guy. So I try to mix, I don't try to contaminate my meal, but when it comes to sweets, there really isn't a limit for me. You can pick up the phone right now, and I wouldn't dare to say you pick up and call AJ Martinez from UIL, and you ask him what Coach Rod's favorite restaurant is, and I'm willing to bet $1 million that he's going to say Dairy Queen, because that's usually where you find me.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story about that if you give me a chance, I'll allude to, and it's. We flip.
I think my producer is telling me we have more than enough time. So
Cool, man.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, thanks. I got my script here. AJ, and of course, they're all excited about the flip, and we're getting ready for the playoffs, and to be part of that environment and that whole scenario was special, especially with the men that I got to share it with, including my athletic director, but all the different people that were there that night, and I get a text message, and it's funny to say, bro, as soon as we knew you weren't flipping at a Dairy Queen, you had no chance. True story. And I said, yeah, you're right. You should have flipped at a Dairy Queen. I said, no, because I probably would have been inside when the whole thing was taking place. I would have made my favorite blizzard, which is Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And I've kind of gotten addicted to those memorials in there as well. And just for adventure and make it fun. But
that's a pro move right there.
It's definitely someone with experience in the there's not a Dairy Queen I probably haven't visited in the state of Texas.
Which is great. You're in the right state for it.
Heck, it's just
can't miss
not that I know where it's at, but it's about a half a mile away from Chapman Field, in a serious pertain location that's pretty accessible by vehicle.
Well, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk some football, talk about the off season, look at next year. Who knows? We might get a more Dairy Queen talk too. I'm always down for that. They have a cinnamon toast dip cone right now, so new stuff. No free ads. More High School Fan Zone next.
Your inside look into Lubbock High sports. This is the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Hey, it's the High School Fan Zone, a Wednesday edition. Appreciate you joining us here on 100.7 The Score. I'm Clint Scott. We were talking here some Lubbock High Westerner football with head coach Juan Rodriguez. Appreciate Brendan Riker behind the glass taking care of us. All right, let's take a look into next season and what you guys have in store for you here late spring and summer and in the fall. You guys finished really strong, as you noted. Obviously, coin flip that just doesn't go your guys' way. But when you're looking at last season, what do you think your younger guys took away from last year?
That's a great question, and it's something that we talked about it pretty much immediately. We were going to address this type of, going into our off season, and we kind of go in phases. One of our biggest phases is that we're going to turn in the first few months into really get the strength and, strong, bigger, faster mentality with our strength and conditioning family. But we also wanted to really work on pushing our kids to be the best both on and off the field. And we basically said from the get-go, we're not going to live it up to a coin next year. And that's our mentality. That's been our mentality since we started the spring. We're not going to allow, we're going to give it our best shot. We understand that the district is extremely competitive and tough, but we want to be able to at least take one step forward, whether it's an inch or a foot or more, in the right direction for the Lubbock High Westerners. And our kids are invested and understand that, in order for us to be at that situation again, we don't want to put ourselves in a chance to leave it up to chance. And so they've kind of embarked on that philosophy. They've embraced it. We've been quiet about it, but that's been the approach. And the kids have really bought in, and I'm really proud of them and our staff and all our coaches who really take what's in my head and put it to use and put it to, to work because they're the ones that are the masterminds of it all. I come up with sometimes the silly ideas and they just run with it. And so very blessed to have, my offensive coordinator, Emilio Garcia, my defensive coordinator, Keaton Freejay. We've kind of embarked on dual roles now. We've put our secondary guy in charge with, as a defensive coordinator. And, we're just really excited about the men that we have over there and the guys that do so much for our program. And one of those is Michael Raythio. He's kind of like the unsung hero, but he's responsible for all our community involvement. So if you see the Lubbock Westerners out doing something within our feeder programs or, outside doing something for our community, that's the guy that has been spearheading all those different events. So really proud to have him on board with us as well.
When you're looking at players that you guys are going to be like leaning on for next year, one, is there conversations around maybe who your on the field and off the field leaders are going to be with those players, or does like player leadership to you happen kind of organically?
I think you got to have somebody. Obviously, you got to have your leaders and your captains on the field, but you also have to have those guys that are on the sidelines, ensuring that we're obviously paying attention to the game, but encouraging one another. And we always talk to our kids, next man up mentality. You never know when you're going to have the opportunity to go. And that has happened in more than one instance throughout the last few years. So they really want to make sure that we have guys that are doing and saying and working towards the same goal, which is to win on a Friday night. We don't have that type of young man that's sitting back there and pouting and saying, well, I'm not playing, so I'm not going to be invested. So I'm really proud of our kids, and they're a big family. And we've been preaching it and talking about it for a while now, but I think this group of seniors and the ones that just passed by have really kind of understood what I've told them since I got here. And it was a very simple phrase, is when my expectations become your standards, then we have changed the culture.
Yeah.
Because I don't no longer have to expect you to do something. You've already set the standard to do that. So we're definitely, I think, in the right path. We're definitely in the right direction. Lubbock High will always find a way to continue to move forward because of the tenacity of our kids and our staff. And it's something to be really proud of with our community as well.
Well, Coach, wish we had more time. As always, love talking with you. I'm sure I will see you around before the start of the season next year, but
absolutely
looking forward to what you guys do next year.
Absolutely. We're, again, grateful to have the opportunity to be here. Randy had told me that I was going to be here 3 hours, and that's kind of why I got dressed this way. But apparently he lied to me again, so him and I have to have a conversation after all this. No, all seriousness, thank you for having us. You guys have a blessed night. Thank you for all that you all do for our community and for those who are listening this evening. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Head coach Juan Rodriguez for the Westerners. This has been the Westerner Fan Zone. Keep it right here. We will flip the page to Coronado next here on 100.7 The Score.